what's going on, everybody? It's your boy, the Anime Hobbit here, coming at you with part one. Okay, I tried to record another video, that didn't work out. But this is part one of What If Naruto Was Consumed by Darkness. And I know you might be looking at the title, you might be looking at the thumbnail and thinking, yo, bro, didn't you just record this video last night and just drop it? Well, the problem with that is, yeah, so I read the wrong book. And that's my fault. It's totally my fault. I should have looked at it. But yeah, there were only 2 parts of that one, and I can't just have that as the end of the book. And it was updated a while ago, and the author hasn't updated it since. So I'm assuming that the book is over, and I'm just going to start again instead of waiting for them to drop another chapter. But yeah, so this one that we're writing is called Darkness, okay? This one is completed. So I made sure it was completed. This one's called Darkness. And that's where the title comes from. What if Naruto was consumed by darkness? So yeah, like, subscribe, comment. I respond to all comments. I like all comments, and I appreciate it if you could subscribe and if you could comment. And yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. A blonde boy was walking through a distant forest. Dim sunlight filtered through the tightenings of the endless trees above, softly moving with the light whispering of a morning breeze. He had been walking for quite some time now. His feet were aching, but he ignored the feeling. He was deep in thought, like always. Suddenly, his stomach started to grow. As the blond boy was startled and decided to take a break, he sat down on the dead grass and got himself something to eat. The sun was shining brightly, and there were barely any clouds in the sky. But no matter how beautiful this day might be, the blond boy named Naruto Uzumaki never smiles. Naruto's point of view. It was a peaceful day today in this forest, but what should I have expected? Nothing happens here since it's a dead forest. A huge fire had killed most of the nature here, and no one bothered to look here ever again after that. Well, except for me. Most of the plants that were destroyed were back, and it's a place where I can come to my senses. Suddenly, I saw a kunai coming at me. I immediately jumped to my feet and caught the weapon. I was very confused, since I thought I was the only one here. But then I remembered that this could be an attack from an enemy, but that wasn't the case. A raven-haired guy ran towards me and saw my confused face. "Can I get that back?" he asked dryly, not bothering to ask me if I was okay, which I, for the record, was. "What are you doing here?" I asked him with a glare, ignoring his question. It seemed like he was ignoring my glare. "Training. What else? Now give it back," he ordered. Sighed, not having the energy for another argument. I rolled my eyes and threw the kunai at him. He caught it with ease and slowly walked back to the entrance of the forest. "You're welcome," I muttered. I rolled my eyes. I sat back down on the grass, continuing to eat my food. I softly cursed. Where am I? I softly cursed under my breath, thinking about the stupid guy. I then saw a pinkette coming towards me with a frown. "So you're the one who stole Sasuke's kunai?" she asked. I decided to ignore her, but she never left me. She began to complain about how she was going to be his future wife and how I was rude to him, and other things I didn't really listen to. I sighed. Can I never be alone without people bothering me? My day was now ruined by those two. They were annoying in their own way. The girl was taken aback, and she finally left me alone. I think she was that guy's fangirl or something. After a little while, I stood up. I was done eating and put my hands in my pockets. I then walked out of the forest. "Hey, kid, you should clean up. People might know you've been here," said a voice. Yeah, I know, Kurama, but I don't give a damn about them," I answered him. Besides, it's not like anybody would come here except for those two weirdos. Kurama sighed and decided to stay silent. He started thinking. "Ever since the day that old guy got killed, Naruto's turned his back to everyone. He never wanted someone to be near him. All he does was avoid conversations, and it did work. Almost everyone in the village neglects him, and the boy neglects them. Nobody's point of view." This is nobody's point of view. This is third person. Naruto walked through the streets of Konoha, back to his home. "Tomorrow's the day I leave. I'm turning 16, and that means that old man died 9 years ago. Leaving everything behind," the blonde said to Kurama in a sad yet angry tone. "Yeah, and that you turned your back to everyone. You started ignoring them, and just when everyone started to like you, you're always so gloomy," the QB replied while rolling his eyes. No, I'm not. Now please be quiet, he asked inside. Not much later, Naruto saw a boy who looked familiar. He had fangirls all around him, and when he took a closer look, he saw that the raven-haired guy was clearly annoyed. The blonde smirked. Naruto looked around and saw a wall in the shadows. He walked over there and leaned against it, enjoying the show. Sasuke's point of view. So annoying, I stated, glaring at the girls that formed a circle around me. A girl with pink hair stepped forward. She had her hands on her hips. No, we won't. Something might happen to you, she replied with a concerned tone, and all the girls agreed. Guess they forgot I'm an Uchiha. I saw that blonde boy, I think his name was Naruto, watching me struggle with all these annoying fangirls. It seemed like he was very amused. Hey, isn't that boy from earlier? I muttered to myself, and all the girls accidentally heard me. They looked in his direction. Naruto's eyes widened, and he quickly turned away. He didn't like it at all. So many eyes looking at him. I shoved all the girls out of my way and walked to the blonde with a blank face. The girls didn't do anything for once. What are you doing here? I asked in a more angry tone than I had hoped for. Nothing. I was going home. But then I saw you and those girls, and it was very amusing seeing you struggle. He answered with a shrug, and then walked to his house. He's so weird, the pink cat said, as the blonde was out of her sight. Yeah, he was never good with people. He's always alone, and when someone talks to him, he just walks away, a blonde said with a frown. Just like he did now, a different fangirl said and pouted. A girl with long blue hair passed them by, but stopped. A different fangirl snickered at her remark. She then glared at the two of them, who ignored her completely. Leave him be, she said sternly. Normally she was very shy, but when someone made fun or something like that of Naruto, she was very angry, and all of her shyness seemed to be gone. The pink cat and the blonde, Sakura and Ino, looked at her and scoffed. Later, the two girls were there that were just snickering at Naruto looked as well. They had baby blue and black hair. Why would we? They all asked in sync. You may not like him, but for what reason? Did he ever do something to you girls? She answered while closing her eyes, anger building up inside her. Well, they didn't say anything for a while and shrugged. They weren't able to give her a good reason. Thought so, the blue-haired girl said and huffed. So she then quickly walked away and hid behind a building when she was out of their sight. She let out a deep breath and started to turn around. That was so embarrassing, she whispered to herself and calmed down before going back to the thing she was going to do in the first place. Sasuke heard their conversation. So he's alone too, huh? He thought and used the opportunity of the girls being taken aback to sneak away from them. Naruto's point of view. I arrived at my home and stared at the door. There was nothing left for me in this village. Why was I here in the first place? I took a deep breath and closed my eyes. Kurama, are you there? I asked and waited for a reply. Yeah, something wrong, kid, he answered after a few minutes. I'm gonna leave this messed up village. Alright, so that was the first chapter, but I don't think that this part is gonna be long enough. Yeah, it's only 8 minutes, and I've said this in the last video, I don't like when the videos are really short, because I feel like at that point that there's no point, because like, I don't know. I'm one of those guys that wants to give as much content as freaking possible. I want to drop as much as I can. So, yeah. We're going to just continue on with part 2. Act as if this didn't happen, okay? What? You're kidding, right, kid? Kurama asked in a shocked tone, not wanting to believe his jailer. No, I'm not, Naruto replied with a cold tone as he closed his eyes and glared at the fox mentally. Well, I'm going to sleep now. Good night, the demon said, being really tired of today. The next day, Naruto grabbed his bag and put some clothes in it, accompanied by the money he had left and some instant ramen. The blonde then got a piece of paper and a pencil and started to write some words. For someone who will eventually come here and read this, I guess I'm writing this note for them. He read out loud in a sad tone and rolled his blue eyes. Hello, you are probably in my house breaking it. And now you see this. Please let the Hokage know I left the village and don't follow me. If you want to kill me, I won't come back as a friend, and even if I will come back, it will be as a foe. Signed, Uzumaki Naruto. Not that anyone will care, he added mentally, put it on the desk, and climbed out the window without anyone noticing, and went through the gate nonchalantly. Sasuke, leave me be. You're all just annoying girls that are also stalkers. And it's driving me crazy. He snapped at the fangirls who just blushed madly. He then rolled his onyx eyes. I meant it in a negative way, he added as most of the girls now looked hurt. The most annoying fangirls were certainly the blonde and pink cat. They were staring into his angry orbs, and it creeped the raven-haired Uchiha out. Sasuke simply shrugged, and with his hands in his pockets, he started to leave the group, when the blonde and pink cat stopped him in his tracks by both holding one of his wrists. "Let go of me," Sasuke began in a deep and dangerously yet soft voice, as he yanked his wrist free and glared at them with his Sharingan activated. "Or else I'll kill you right here," he added. The girls looked terrified, but a frown replaced their scared expressions in a second. The Raven took this chance to get away from them, as he remembered that the fangirls hated a certain blonde guy. The Raven decided to go to his house to hide for a while, and he realized that he never asked his name. How did he know where the blonde lived? He just happened to see the jailer of Kurama every now and then on the streets, and always sees him in his apartment when he tries to hide from the oh-so-annoying fangirls. The lights were always on, and the blonde used to look at him in amusement, but now he wasn't there. Sasuke decided to knock on the door to see if something happened, but no one opened the door. Sasuke cut through the lock with a kunai he had in his pocket and knocked down the door. He took a good look. The house was messy. It was really dark. The lights were broken, the floor was dirty, the carpet was stained with dirt. The bathroom smelled like it had never been cleaned, and the kitchen was worst of all. There were cups of old instant ramen everywhere, and the cabinets were about to come down. There were spider webs and dirty stains everywhere. The knives and forks he owned were rotten as well. It was one big chaos, and it didn't take a genius to figure out the blonde never cleaned his house. Upon looking around, Sasuke found a small note on the blonde's desk and picked it up. "What's this, a note from him?" The Raven muttered to himself as he started to read it. He was surprised, to say the least. Sasuke left Naruto's house and made his way to the Hokage's office. He then laid down the note on her desk and told her to read it, which she did. She wasn't surprised. She was angry. "Naruto Uzumaki left without permission from me?" she said, the anger more visible in her tone with every word she spoke. Okay. "He can't just go and desert the village. He belongs here in the Leaf. Sasuke, do you know where he's heading? What's he gonna do? If he's gonna betray us, I have no other choice than to send him to prison." "Calm down, Lady Tsunade. You're jumping to conclusions too fast," Kakashi said, reading his book. "I am calm, just a bit shocked. Now, Sasuke, get your old Team 7 here." I did what she said and went searching for Gulp, Sakura, and Sai. Nobody's point of view. "Naruto left? For what reason?" "To betray the Leaf, obviously, but I don't know why he wants to do that," she answered. "Well, I do know. People in this village say every day that he's a monster. He doesn't have any friends, he says, but I think he's a friend of mine, even though we didn't talk a lot," Sasuke answered. "Really, Sasuke?" Sakura was a bit annoyed. "He seemed like a nice boy, but he doesn't talk to us. All the teams at our generation tried to make friends, but he keeps hiding from us, like he was scared if we were also going to see him as a monster, but we don't. We only want to make friends with him, but he doesn't see it," the ex-group member said. "So that's his reason for leaving." Tsunade had an angry look on her face. "What is his reason?" What is his reason?" the pink cat asked. "He felt lonely, betrayed, like an outcast. He thought he was all alone. He was running away from himself," the Hokage answered. The pink cat girl looked at the ground. "What did I do?" she mumbled. "You didn't do shit. Stop taking credit for all this stuff, bro. Damn." The other members glared at her and then narrowed back at the Hokage. "So what's our assignment, my lady?" Sai asked politely. "I want you to bring him back safe and sound. Show him the light." The Team 7 smiled and said with a small smile, "Yes, Hokage-sama." The door opened. "I'm coming with you." The girl with blue hair came in. "Hinata, you want to go with them? Do you have a reason and permission from your father?" the Sannin asked. Suddenly, Shikamaru, Lee, Neji, and Ino came in and said, "Oh my gosh, this is going to be like the Sasuke retrieval mission for fucking Naruto. That's crazy." "We all do. It's our faults for not helping him. We need to do this. We're his friends," Shikamaru said. "She has permission from her bodyguard," Neji said proudly. So Hokage smiled. "Okay then, Hinata Hyuga, Shikamaru Nara, Rock Lee, Neji Hyuga, Ino Yamanaka, Sai, Sakura Haruno, Sasuke Uchiha, and Kakashi Hatake. I trust you guys to help him. Now go." They all left and an old man with white hair came in. "So you remember what I said about the child of prophecy, Tsunade?" "Yes, I do. We didn't know who he or she was, right, Jiraiya?" "Yes, I do. We didn't... Yes, I do. I found out who it is. It's Naruto Uzumaki." And, that's part 2. I think I'm going to end it there. 14 minutes. I could read a third one, but I think I'm gonna save that and stick with just 2 chapters. I'm sorry for the shorter episodes. This book is shorter. Yeah. I mean, I don't really know. Dude, has anybody else been having these problems? I'm just gonna have a little conversation here at the end. Has anybody else been having these problems where like your internet's been cutting out? Like, oh my gosh. And I have been having a killer headache. Like, yo. Um, Other than that though, I mean, shoot, life is good, man. For real, for real. Life is good. Um, yeah. I think that's the end of it. Oh, hydrate yourself. I want to make that a theme. I want to make that a theme on this channel to talk about water at least once every episode. Hydrate yourself. Get a glass of water. Get some water. It's good for you, and it can help with headaches. It's helped with mine, especially. Helps with muscle aches and pains. Hydrate yourself. Okay, you need to be hydrated. All humans do. We all require water. We're not supposed to be drinking this stuff like soda and junk. So yeah, I'm gonna make this a theme from now on to talk about water at least once during the episodes. Yeah, but shoot, that's part one of What If Naruto Was Consumed by Darkness. I think I'm gonna leave the other part up. Maybe the author updates it in like 5 years or something crazy, but they're not updating it right now. That's for sure. But yeah, if it does, I'll read it again. I'll like check back on it in like a year from now and see how it's going. Um, yeah, man. Like, comment, subscribe. I respond to all comments. I like all comments. I heart all comments. And I appreciate all comments. I appreciate all the love. And yeah, shoot, I'm out. Deuces.